This is The Drive with Dale Lolley and Matt Williamson on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. SNR, Steelers Nation Radio.
And welcome to The Drive. I am Dale Lolley here with the Matt Williamson, and it is a lovely Thursday here in Pittsburgh. And Matt, we have a little injury report update
Dig
here.
right in. Here we go.
Hot off the press.
Yeah,
here.
no fluff. Let's go.
Right into it. So, anybody hoping to see Marshawn Lattimore play for the Washington Commanders this weekend?
Well, I'm sure people in Washington are.
I'm sure they are, and I know a lot of Steelers fans have
been
been asking, are they going to,
right.
how's he going
shadowing Pickens? Blah, blah, blah,
I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Because he did not practice again today with that hamstring issue. That's 2 days in a row with a new team.
With a new team, yeah.
He's not going to play.
That makes all the sense in the world now. Was he hurt when they traded for him?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I
haven't
either.
looked far enough into it, but obviously he's dealing with this hamstring now. They knew that.
I mean, he's never practiced for Washington,
right.
So he must have done something in either this most recent game or pre-trade.
Yeah. So, I mean, but again, you make trades like this not looking at just this game. These are made for the rest of the season.
I think he's got 2 years after this on the contract, too.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but I think it's 2. So he's big picture item. Good. I mean, that's good for the Steelers.
Clelin Ferrell, who was limited yesterday with a knee issue, did not practice today.
Okay. I mean, they kind of use a rotation at defensive end, and he's fine.
He's part of it.
Yeah.
Cornelius Lucas with an ankle did not practice. Defensive end Dorrance Armstrong limited for the second day in a row with a shoulder issue. He's their best edge guy.
I would say he's probably their best edge guy. They're really happy with him. Fowler's their most productive sack guy.
Yeah.
All those dudes have pedigree. They're trying to kind of revive their careers. They're doing a pretty good job of it.
Speaking of Fowler, he was limited for the second day in a row with a groin issue.
Okay.
Kind of a big deal because he's a twitchy type athlete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about to get off, and he was an early pick. So the three of them are basically their defensive end rotation, give or take, you know.
Brian Robinson with that hamstring, once again limited today.
Okay. Good player.
Austin Seibert, their kicker, with that right hip injury. Didn't practice yesterday, was limited today.
Interesting. They haven't done anything
picking up.
Pick
I don't know if they have one on the practice
practice
squad or anything like that. But
right.
They must. If he was limited today, they must expect him to play.
I would think.
But you wonder how much that affects kicking depth and that kind of stuff.
I mean, he's not a bombs away guy anyway. I mean, if it's a
he's only attempted
55-yarder to
3 kicks over 50 yards this year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
This year, when everybody's kicking 50-yarders except for Justin Tucker.
Except for Justin Tucker. But I mean, if you need a 50-yarder to win it, it might be like
he might not be your guy.
Throw him there instead, or I don't know. You know.
Offensive tackle Andrew Wiley with the shoulder limited for the second day in a row.
He's their starting right tackle.
Tight end Colson Yankoff.
Oh,
that's a great name.
That's great.
He has a hamstring.
So much you could do with that.
He was limited today. That's a new addition to the injury report. Center Tyler Beatis, after being limited yesterday, a full participant today with the thumb issue, and the same thing with Noah, whose name I cannot pronounce. The cornerback, he was a full participant for the second day in a row. Looking at things on the Steelers side of things, really the only addition.
Pretty decent Commanders list, though.
Yeah,
there's some clusters.
Significant, yeah. On the Steelers side of things, you're looking at essentially everything kind of status quo. Justin Fields a full participant. Why can't I get this thing to come up bigger? Skoranek and Matakevich were both full participants again today. They're still they could still be activated before Sunday's game. Nick Herbig still limited today. The only new addition was Michael Pruitt with a knee. He did not practice, but Frazier back. Cam Hayward got the day off, but that's a typical Thursday thing. Cordero Patterson, a full participant. So not looking bad on the Steelers side of things.
I mean, who's potentially not going to go? Pruitt and Herbig?
Yeah, I'd say Herbig probably doesn't go, especially now that you got
a new guy, too.
Yeah, you got Preston Smith there who can get you 10 to 15 snaps on either side.
Easily, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, not bad at all.
No, I mean, you're coming off a bye, of course, but still, it's not
that's
bad.
the way it should be when you're coming off the bye. Matt, I don't know if you saw this or not, but I guess since it's mid-season, we're seeing a lot of different mid-season award stuff coming out.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill Barnwell.
I didn't click on it, but I did see
put together his list of postseason award winners.
Okay.
And going in order on these things, his Coach of the Year finalists. And this game this week with these two particular coaches,
I would think both of them should be in the equation right now.
You could almost make the argument that the winner of this game might be the front runner.
Might have a real strong case.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's exceeded expectations more than Washington.
Right.
No question about it.
Yeah.
And again, they've already passed their Vegas
win total. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with a win, the Steelers would move within a half a game of their win total to start the season.
No, I hear you.
I think both teams were a little underestimated. But at 3, he has Kevin O'Connell.
I got no problem with that either.
Yeah, that's a good.
They've cooled off a little, but they were on fire to start the season.
Yeah. 2 right now for him is Dan Quinn.
We just talked about it. Yeah, he's done a tremendous job.
Number 1 for him is Mike Tomlin.
Really, I'm shocked that he's getting the flowers he deserves, or whatever the kids say.
Yeah.
But I think he very much should be in the mix.
He said it's difficult to poke holes in what Tomlin has done. His defense ranks 2nd in points allowed, 5th in EPA per play. While the Steelers have been blessed to have edge rusher T.J. Watt and safety Minka Fitzpatrick, it's been a complete effort. Joey Porter Jr. has continued to play like an upper echelon cornerback. Outside linebacker Alex Highsmith has been brilliant, and when he was injured, Nick Herbig flashed with big plays. Safety Deshaun Elliott and corner Dante Jackson have played much better in Pittsburgh than they did in their prior stops. And Tomlin has turned undrafted free agent rookie Beanie Bishop into an immediate contributor.
Okay. I think there's more than just the defense, though. He's had 2 different quarterbacks.
He said, well, Tomlin isn't as hands-on with the offense. He's gotten the big decisions right. The Steelers become more efficient in their rushing attack after hiring Arthur Smith. And even though injuries have prevented them from rolling out their desired starting 5 for most of the season. The offense was passable with Justin Fields at quarterback, but Tomlin made the brave choice in going from Fields to Russell Wilson under center, and Pittsburgh has scored 63 points over the 2 ensuing victories.
Yeah, that's Coach of the Year type stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's pretty well written. Obviously, making the switch to Wilson is something we expected from the start, but he still had to do it. It still was not a slam dunk decision as the head
people
coach.
People were arguing back and forth about it for weeks.
Of course, right.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I would go with Verse.
He has 3 guys. Number 3 on his list, Beanie Bishop. Now, this is a Steelers-centric radio show,
right.
Obviously. But Beanie Bishop has not been the 3rd best defensive rookie in the league this year. Beanie Bishop's been fine.
He's made some big plays
lately.
He's made
some big plays.
Great.
There's a little recency bias with this one.
Yeah. It's a really bad defensive crop of rookies.
Yeah.
And we knew that on draft day to some degree. But the undrafted nickelback who's about to get replaced.
I don't know if he gets – here's the thing. I don't know if he gets replaced right away as people are thinking.
Really?
I don't know that Cam Sutton just goes, right into that spot.
Okay. I was assuming he would. But I don't know.
Yeah. Number 2, Quinion Mitchell.
Now, say Mitchell's the only one I'd consider other than Verse.
And then number 1 is Jared Verse.
Okay. Again, it's not a great crop, but Beanie shouldn't be in the top 3.
No. He does have 3 interceptions. You give him credit, and he's made some big plays. And
I assume he has the interception lead for rookies.
I think so,
I'd be shocked if he did.
Yeah. Offensive Rookie of the Year, number 3, Brian Thomas.
Okay. Fine with that.
Number 2, Brock Bowers.
Would you put Thomas over Neighbors then? We know who one's going to be.
I'd have Neighbors over. Well, Neighbors has missed some games.
I say he missed 2 games, but he's done more per game.
Yeah.
That's a close one.
And then number 1 is the guy the Steelers will match up against this week, Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, easily on the number 1.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay.
At number 3, he has Myles Garrett.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Myles Garrett, first of all, they're 2 of 7. 2 and 7. He's gone without a sack in 5 of his 9 games this year.
Has he?
In some of those games, you wouldn't even know he played if you looked at the stat sheet.
I remember there was that one game at least. He's still awesome, but I don't
I'm
think
not
he's
saying
in,
he's not, but there are guys who are having
type.
better seasons.
Yeah, I'm shocked he's in the top 3 this year.
Yeah,
and some of the big dogs are out, Parsons, and
And once again, since Bill's an analytic guy, he goes, well, nobody else is within 2 percentage points of his pass rush win rate. There's a stat for winning pass rushes. It's called sacks.
Or even hurries if you want to.
Or hurries, or quarterback hits, or whatever you want to call them. Those are winning your pass rep.
Yeah.
Your pass rush rep.
That ESPN pass rusher win rate, I know he works for them and needs to pump it up, but come on. It doesn't translate. It doesn't reflect in the tape as well.
No.
As some of the other.
And he's got like 20 tackles this year.
Really?
I mean, he's just. I get it. He gets double teamed. All the great ones get double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be on a 2-7 team and even be in consideration.
I mean, if you're going to pick someone off a bad team, how about Dexter Lawrence? I don't know if he's on this list or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
or Max Crosby.
Right.
Number 2 for him is T.J. Watt.
I think he'd be my 1, but the fact he's in the top 3, I think, is warranted.
Yeah. Number 1 for him.
I don't know who this is.
Trey Hendrickson. Now.
He's great, too.
Trey Hendrickson is fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a great player, but their defense stinks.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
With a capital S.
Yes. I don't know if that's enough to not make you in consideration, but it'd be hard for me to vote yes as number 1.
Yeah.
You know? Yes, you're the best player on the terrible defense. It's not your fault that the defense stinks. You do your job and then some.
And here's what I do. So he said he leads the league with 11 sacks and quarterback hits with 22. Okay, great.
Yeah, that's great.
They don't stop the run at all.
No, they don't.
And he's part of that, too.
Of course.
This is not just who had the most sack award.
That's what it's been turning into
because
the last couple of years.
That didn't happen last year. T.J. Watt led the league in sacks.
But it's always an edge guy, and it's always sacks. And, I mean, like the Fred Warners of the world don't get as much credit as they should.
I'd have less of a problem if he had Fred Warner there.
Yeah, or a lockdown corner never wins the award. Defensive tackles have a tough time because they don't always put up massive numbers. Dexter Lawrence not being in the top 3 rubs me a little wrong.
I would have less of a problem if it was Dexter Lawrence. At least he's, he's a good he's a good all-around player.
Absolutely. Hendricks is too, but their defense is.
Their defense stinks.
It's really bad.
Stinks. Right? Offensive Player of the Year. Number 3, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he's same every year. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been great.
I think this is Saquon or Henry.
Number 2 is Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
Number 1 is Derrick Henry.
Fine.
Derrick Henry would be he's my MVP right now.
Yeah, I get your
He has unlocked everything for that Ravens offense.
100%. That's not how the awards ever work anymore.
It's how it should work. Who's been the most valuable player?
I mean, there were a lot of running backs like when I was a kid or a teenager and
that won that
Eric
award.
Dickerson and those type of guys, that were the best players in the league at the time.
He's going to maybe have 2,000 rushing yards and 25 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the most valuable player? Yeah. Who opens everything else up?
And you can see the difference with and without him.
If you want to call MVP, make it if you want it to be a quarterback every year, make it most valuable quarterback.
See, I was thinking that too. Like, should they make it just a different award for quarterback of the year?
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, that'd be a super prestigious award. You know what I mean? Most valuable player is weird. Like, kind of like the Henderson conversation. I remember one year, I might be wrong on baseball, but like Cal Ripken won it, and they had like 50 wins. But he was an Iron Man. He was by far the best shortstop in the league. All his numbers were great. And it's like, okay, you're really valuable, but if you were missing, you'd still be the worst team in the league. Or
right.
You know what I mean? You got to value's a hard thing to really put it on, because it's definitely a quarterback in terms of value.
Yeah, I mean, I could certainly make the argument that Mahomes has been the most valuable quarterback in the league because if they don't have him,
right. His numbers aren't as good as
his numbers aren't great, but if you take him off
the whole locomotive.
You take him off the Chiefs and they're cooked.
Absolutely.
I could make I could make a strong argument for Jayden Daniels being the MVP.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just look at the offense night and day difference.
Look how better they are as a team.
Mm-hmm. And there's other things at play. There's a new coach and stuff, but the obvious jolt is the quarterback.
Most valuable player.
Okay.
We haven't even gotten to this point yet. There we go. So at 3, he has Jared Goff.
I'm fine with that. I mean, his numbers are phenomenal, but boy, he's got a lot around him. You know? I mean, in terms of the line and the running game and St. Brown, and
Number 2, he has Jayden Daniels.
Wow. Okay.
Number 1,
he's missing one of my top 2.
Yeah. Number 1, he has Lamar Jackson.
I get it. I would have Allen 1 or 2.
Yeah, take Josh Allen off of that Bills team and see where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I don't like about the word valuable, though. Like, is really the award, if we took him away, what do you lose?
That's what it should be.
Because then it's Mahomes every year.
But who's been the most valuable player to their team?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but I guess it's not wrong if it's Mahomes every year. He's the best player in the league.
If this is the case, then a running quarterback should win this every year.
Why is that?
Because they're way more valuable. If you're a quarterback that throws for 3,000 yards and rushes for 1,000 yards, you're very valuable to your team.
Of course, but you're not more valuable than Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can still win it as a pocket guy.
I mean, you're telling me Joe Burrow's not valuable to the?
He should be in the conversation too.
Yeah.
If they don't win enough games. I mean, talk about not having a lot going on for him. He doesn't have a defense. I mean, like Goff's in. If you put Burrow and Goff and switched them, we wouldn't be talking about Goff as anything close to an MVP.
Right.
And we might be talking about Burrow running away with it.
I mean, should Kirk Cousins be on this list? He's been pretty valuable for Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Not top 3, but I mean, he's having a great year. Right.
I'm just, if it's automatically, if you have Jayden Daniels and Lamar Jackson at the top of this, Lamar's doing what Lamar usually does. Now, he's doing it a little bit better this year, but why? Because he's got Derrick Henry now.
Yeah, and his pocket passing's better, though, too. I mean,
because he's got Derrick Henry now.
Everything's better.
You can't drop.
Right.
I mean, linebackers can't attack the line of scrimmage or have to attack the line of scrimmage.
No
Opens up the middle of the field.
But he won it last year, too.
I think he should have won it last year.
I didn't think anybody deserved it, to be honest with you. He would have been my vote, but I don't think it was a typical MVP year.
It wasn't a great year for him.
Mm-mm.
But then you hear the same argument, why T.J. Watt didn't win Defensive Player of the Year. Well, they don't want to give the award to the same person a couple times.
Well, that kind of stuff's stupid.
I know it's stupid, but there's a segment of the voters that do that.
Do you think Lamar's going to have a tough time repeating? I mean, that's his third in 5 years or whatever. 2 back-to-back doesn't happen very often.
I just think it's the cheat code, because if it's just, okay, he had 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards, and the team was, let's say they go 11-6. Well, okay, he was pretty valuable for them. But does that make him the most valuable?
Yeah, but he's the quarterback probably in the best offense in the league. And the defense is not propelling them to where they need to be.
Was it the best offense in the league before they got Derrick Henry? No.
It was last year.
They weren't the best offense in the league.
Second in DVOA or first in DVOA, something like that. I mean, they're top. I mean, they were phenomenal. I would still give it to Allen, though. I think Allen's having the best year.
He's thrown 1 interception.
I say that because all the bad stuff's gone away.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the weapons. Take Derrick Henry and put him with Josh Allen.
Right.
Come on.
Or Kansas City.
Or put him on Kansas City. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, tell me who's. I'm just saying. I've always been.
I get the Henry.
I've always
been
a Lamar guy.
Yeah.
But if we're just going to say he's more valuable than anybody else because he rushes for 1,000 yards and throws for 3,500, he's going to win it every year then.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the whole case for him. I mean, his tape to me is the best it's ever been in his career.
I get that.
I think he's progressed as a player, even just isolating him without Henry. I mean, it's year 2 in that offense.
At the same time, they're also 5-3.
I know, but that's the thing that hurts him the most, in my opinion, is the 2 bad losses.
Yeah.
Not losing to Kansas City on opening day on Thursday night.
No.
You played it down to the wire. You lost the Raiders at your place and the Cleveland. That's not great.
Not great. Yeah.
I mean, could they be a 13-win team, win the division? Then I think you could be the MVP conversation.
I don't know if they get to 13.
I don't know if they will either. I mean, I'm saying, what would it need to erase those 2 bad losses?
I'll be interested tonight, too, to see how much he runs in this game.
He hasn't run as much lately
because he had 3 carries
carries
for 4 yards last week with that knee issue. I want to watch him tonight to see how.
I think that's one of the other advantages of Henry too, is you just a little less wear and tear on Lamar.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was probably a huge conversation when they signed him, is let the big guy take the beating. Let Lamar throw, and I want him to still be able to run in 5 years, 8 years from now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
This is where we're at this point. But
I mean, like Mahomes could still even win the.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
if they're undefeated. They go on. That's the thing. They're 8-0 right now, and the quarterback's not listed.
I mean, what if they end up 15-2 and they're the number 1 seed? I don't think they even have to sweep the league.
Yeah,
he should be in the conversation.
He should be in the conversation.
Allen would be my vote.
Probably wins it though. If they go 15-2 or 16-1 or 17-0, he's winning MVP award. I don't care what the numbers
The numbers
say.
don't matter as much. Like Lamar's numbers weren't ridiculous last year.
No.
Just numbers.
Yeah.
But nobody's were insane.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I'll be back with more right after this. And we are back. I am Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. And, Matt, I was digging around today at some stats for my highly anticipated 5 for Friday that I do every weekend, or every Friday. It comes out 7 a.m. for those of you looking for this.
On Friday.
On Steelers.com on Fridays. That's why it's 5 for Friday. The Steelers have the best red zone defense in the NFL.
It's crazy,
37.5%. Couple reasons for that. They're allowing 2.8 yards per carry in the red zone.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. It's not the best in the league, but it's really good.
I mean, of course, you can't break an 80-yarder.
Right.
So
but
it's
you're
always
also
gonna be
not
lower
consistently churning out yards against them.
Right.
Opposing passing games have completed 14 of 35 passes for 95 yards inside the 20. Passer rating of 47.9.
Wow. I mean, it's just a really low completion percentage.
Really low.
Right.
Yeah. And then if you look at, they forced 6 turnovers inside the opposing 20. Mm-hmm. 3 of T.J. Watt's 4 forced fumbles this season have come inside the 20.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
They also have 4 red zone interceptions.
I think they had a ton of red zone turnovers last year, too.
And everyone said, that's not sustainable. They can't sustain that.
Right, exactly.
There must be something there that they're doing to unlock this.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads me, I think maybe when they get down close, they play more straight up, hey, we're going to press man. You're going to have to hold the football.
They have a red zone package on defense where that they do some different things because they've gotten away with it. It's worked, but they've been really like the most vanilla defense in the league in terms of just cover 3, bring 4, everyone kind of spot drops to their spot. But you can't do that when the field is that confined, and everyone does play more man, and they're very capable of playing man. I also think their team speed shows up more. It's kind of like, like when you were in grade school and they're like, these are the molecules in a balloon, but then you heat them up and they start bouncing around faster. That's a red zone to me.
Well, and I also here's why I think that they're playing more press man, and I don't have the numbers.
Yeah,
just tell me that they do.
The sniff test tells you it does.
They have 19 sacks this year as a team.
Mm-hmm.
18 of them have come in the red zone.
Yeah, that's craziness, right?
Which teams, as we've seen, teams are getting the ball out quickly against them defensively.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To move the ball down the field.
Yeah,
it's like 2.4 seconds or something like that.
Like,
the
I don't
ball's
know if their
coming out.
pass rush is worse than previous years, but their sack numbers are.
Yeah.
For that reason.
But then when teams get into the red zone inside the 20, they're getting sacks. Because I think opponents are holding the ball more because they're playing more press man.
Well, the guys aren't as open as quickly against the zones and things like that. Okay, we're going to sit down in front of the cover 3. They're going to come up and tackle. Everyone's happy. It's a 5-yard gain. Well, not in the red zone.
No, right.
It's just tighter, and then you're not going to play off coverage and that kind of stuff too. I also think, and again, I'm sure we could pull out a lot of tape of this, but it's just the sniff test, and obviously we've watched every snap. Minka is closer to the action too.
Yeah.
His deep middle stuff, there's not enough room to be deep middle. I mean, he's closer to the
10 yards off the line of scrimmage.
They're also tremendous at batting down passes. I bet it gets a little easier in a condensed form too, or just a little tighter to complete windows around the Haywards of the world, let alone the cover guys.
I'll also say
they also have some big play elements to them too, especially Watt.
If you look at Jayden Daniels in the red zone and inside the 10.
And Washington has snapped the ball in the red zone more than any offense in the league.
In the red zone, he's 18 of 35. Mm-hmm. It's a 51.43% completion percentage.
Yep.
Everywhere else, he's like over 70%.
I would say it's kind of the only chink in his armor so far.
Yeah, for 110 yards. He's got 6 touchdown passes, 1 interception.
Sure. But they've snapped the ball there more than anybody.
Yeah. His passer rating's 85.7. He's over 110
everywhere else.
Everywhere else.
Right.
Actually, higher even than that, because if you put these go into his overall passer rating numbers, when he's inside the opposing 10, 9 of 17. For 44 yards. Now, you're not going to get many passing yards down there.
That's the thing. I mean, things have to be a little different, and it is harder for any quarterback. Your pass, it's like being under pressure versus not. I mean, it's going to be worse, but it's how much worse is the situation. So It's one of the reasons they kick so many short field goals.
Yeah.
You know,
They've
they
kicked
get
a
down
ton
there, and I'm sure, you know, it's year one. His first season's been unbelievably, great. You know, he looks like a big-time hit. But I would bet whenever the offseason rolls around, what's on my to-do list? Well, I need to work on red zone stuff. Things here happen quicker than I'm ready for, to some degree, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, his overall completion percentage is 71.5%.
Mm-hmm.
You take
Right
those
top of the league.
take those red zone numbers out of there, he's probably over 75%.
I'm sure, yeah.
You know, and a lot of they do a lot of. There's a lot of screens.
Washington
and a lot of sideways passing, so to me this week is going to be about tackling the catch,
mm-hmm.
And then they'll take some shots. Now they don't take a ton of shots. Last week he was 3 for 3 on
deep balls.
Deep balls. Overall, his deep ball passing has not been outstanding.
No, and as good a player as McLaurin is, they don't have a great home run threat either.
Yeah.
You know, I mean. Their other receivers are fine, but none of them are Pickens or Mike Williams in his prime. You know, big time, big body, deep threat, go up and get it guys either. But I don't think he's a great deep passer, to your point, either.
Yeah. The other thing about this is he has 204 passing attempts in the shotgun. He has 24 under center.
Okay, yeah.
When he's under center, they're probably not throwing the football.
I would think. I mean, it's probably 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s, things like that.
Yeah.
Side note too, it just dawned on me they're 11 for 11 on 4th downs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like pretty impressive.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff there. The RPO stuff, you think, well, they're a big RPO team. He's only got 41 pass attempts on RPO.
Really?
Somebody in our
that's always a hard thing to 100%.
Yeah.
You know.
But somebody in our comments today said, well, obviously, because we were talking about the sack stuff yesterday. Well, if run pass RPO, the quarterback can run the ball with a running back. I'm like, it's called a RPO. It's a run pass option.
Mm-hmm,
they can also throw the football.
There's a pass option to that, no doubt.
Ben used to run the RPO. Yeah. He wasn't running it.
Yeah, Brady did. I mean, those guys, right. Their offense, though, I know he's changed things, but Kingsbury, their offense coordinator, he was Texas Tech, run and shoot, spread everything, a lot of horizontal passing. You know, use the width of the field a lot. And they definitely have a lot of those concepts still.
Yeah. Getting rid of the football. Under 2.5 seconds, he's 101 of 131. He's got 30 incompletions. He's completing 77% of his passes, but for only 882 yards. Again, those quick sideways passes.
A lot of quick sideways passes, a lot of first reads. Design. I mean, that also speaks to coaching. I mean, that means your first read's coming open.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
but he's also a quick decision maker.
Yeah, 6.7 yards per attempt when that happens.
Okay.
2.5 or more seconds, he's 62 of 97. That's about a 64% completion percentage. He's been sacked 14 times in those situations.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Overall, if you look at it, his time to pass is over 3 seconds.
I'd say it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Now, some of those guys will have the rare one that screws you up that's 5.
Well, the Hail Mary.
The Hail Mary.
He ran around for 8 seconds back there because they rushed 2 guys.
But once you play 1,000 snaps, those go away. You know, I mean, if
it
he
evens
comes back.
out, yeah.
But you're not wrong. He is not he's not Rodgers.
No,
I mean, Rodgers they couldn't play the position any differently.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's not quite 50-50 split on the sideways stuff and then him holding the ball a little bit, but you want him to hold the ball.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. I think you want to hit him. I think you want him to hold the ball. You want to take away his first read or come up and take, screens and bubbles and things like that out. Or they might not even kill you either. I mean, bubbles and tunnel screens and things like that. A lot of desperate offenses do that. That's not what this is. I mean, this is a rookie quarterback, but they don't usually result in big gains either.
Yeah.
Was
asked in the comments, do I see any similarities between this team and Houston of last year? And other than they both have a rookie quarterback, I don't see a ton.
I got to say, new coach, destroyed expectations. I bet Houston by now beat their over-under win total too.
Yeah.
Because their quarterback were both second pick in the draft and are running away with offensive rookie of the year, but not in terms of how they're constructed.
No.
You know what I mean? Houston was much more of a youth movement too. They didn't bring in the Ertzes and Wagners and those type of dudes.
Yeah, this is an older veteran, more veteran team, and defensively Houston was better. than this Washington team is.
Yeah, the Will Andersons and speed and defensive-minded head coach. Well, not that theirs isn't.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they instituted that San Francisco-style defense in Houston. I mean, there are similarities in that perception going into the year vastly underrated them.
Right.
It's an organization very much heading in the right direction with a quarterback that the fan base should be thrilled about. But the way they play, no. And I think these guys run the ball better.
Yeah. I think
their offensive line's a lot more physical. It's a lot more Hogs, NFC East, type of mentality to it.
In the 2 games that he has lost this year, hasn't thrown an interception.
He hasn't thrown an interception in like a month.
He's got only 2 touchdown passes, though, and no interceptions. The 2 interceptions that he does have both came in wins. The only difference between those is when you start looking at yards per attempt.
In the losses versus wins.
It's about a little over a yard difference in the losses versus the wins.
Okay. Who'd they lose to again?
What was it?
Baltimore
and
somebody very early that we didn't bat an eye.
It was Baltimore and Tampa.
Okay, yeah.
And Baltimore, which
they hung with the Ravens, though.
Has hemorrhaged yards through the air this season.
Mm-hmm.
He had 269 against them, which for them is below average.
That's below his average, and it's below what they give up. Probably,
yeah.
You would think it'd be more.
Tampa, he had 184 passing yards in that game.
That's pretty bad defense.
That was the first game of the year.
Yeah, I would say it's the first game ever, so maybe just throw that one out.
Yeah, but I don't know what to expect with this one.
I don't either. I'm having a hard time doing predictions. I do think it's going to be close. There are some things that really favor the Steelers, like historical stuff. Tomlin off a bye, Tomlin versus rookie quarterbacks, things like that. But every game's different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, those trends mean stuff, but that's not enough just to say, oh, Washington's got no chance. Washington's had a really good year. And I think they're very, very dangerous. But I also, deep down, I'm not just saying this because they're opponent, because I think we do power ranks every Tuesday. I think they're still a smidge or overrated. I don't think they're a contender. I think they're going the right direction, but they have holes.
So how about this? So this game is obviously in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
His completion percentage at home, even though they're 4-0, is 63.8%. It's 76.9% on the road.
I wonder if there's one outlier. Did he have his worst game at home or his best game on the road? I mean, because they're such small sample sizes.
It's 4 games. He's 4-0.
Yeah.
He's only thrown 2 touchdown passes at home. His passer rating is 93.2 at home. He's been sacked 10 times at home. He's only been sacked 7 times on the road, and that's in 5 games.
And 1 extra game. I can't think of any legit reasons for that, though. I mean, did they happen to have bad weather at home and not on the road? I don't think so yet.
Well, then you got to start looking at who do they play?
Yeah,
in those particular games. I mean, I know they just played the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
So the road game or the home games are Chicago, Carolina, Cleveland.
They struggled against Chicago.
And the Giants.
I mean, they won it with a Hail Mary, but that was not a pretty game by them.
Now, he only played, I think, he only threw 2 passes against Carolina before he got hurt in that game.
Daniels.
Yeah. That was mostly Mariota. They scored 40 points to Marcus Mariota at quarterback against Carolina.
Carolina, right. Now, the system's quite good, too, by the way.
Yeah. But against Cleveland, which is a similar defense, they won that game 34-13, but he was 14 of 25 for 238 yards and a touchdown.
Okay. I could see pressure being reflective in that, too.
Yeah. They sacked him 3 times. He did have 11 rushes for 82 yards.
So he got away.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had some big ones, probably.
In fact, that's the second most rushing yards he's had this season. The most came against Tampa in the opener when he had 16 for 88 and 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. At that point, too, he was just tucking and running anytime that something went wrong.
Against Baltimore, again, that like-style defense, it was 24 of 35, 68.6% completion percentage, 269, 2 touchdowns. He only ran 6 times for 22 yards against the Ravens.
Yeah. And nobody's running on him. Everyone's passing on
him.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to take away from his splits.
He also played Cincinnati. They beat Cincinnati. He was 21 of 23. Well, we know Cincinnati's defense isn't very good. But
I mean, why his accuracy is
These
so
are
high,
the
too.
three AFC or all three AFC North opponents.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure the Steelers are watching a lot of those 3 games though too.
Yeah,
they know
because
the defense.
they know
so
the
well, right?
personnel and how they like to approach things,
Mm-hmm.
and plus the Baltimore and Cleveland games were back to back a month ago.
Yeah. So I think there will be some Lamar roles. I think hitting him is important. Even if it means he pitches to the running back and that guy's freer.
Well, I'd rather have Robinson running with the ball.
Yeah,
than him.
Especially if Robinson doesn't play and the non-Eckler guys too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not great, Rodriguez and those dudes. But I want to hit him at every chance possible. I would like to see them do more creative stuff on defense with a rookie quarterback too. More of the robber stuff we've seen, in previous years, stuff like that. Maybe you do hit the flats a little heavier in terms of looking to take away the quick hitters, the quick game and that kind of stuff. Make them hold it.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll blitz them a lot.
No, and their receivers are they're good receivers.
They're fine.
They're fine.
They're fine. They got a real good one, and everyone else is okay.
Yeah. But the Steelers cornerbacks have been pretty good tackling this year.
Very.
On the edges.
Yeah, very. They don't get a ton after the catch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something, but it's not like that's not where it's all coming from. Because
Yeah.
a lot of it is, boom, get a few.
Their big after the catch guy is Eckler.
Yes, 100%. And he's not been a big tackle breaker, but he's been a big juke people in space type of guy and get away. And he's still got the speed. He still has the explosiveness. He's had a good year.
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah.
Good for him.
But if Robinson doesn't play, don't expect him to be like the bell cow.
No, it'll be they'll have McNichols in there.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten McNichols was in camp with the Steelers a couple of years ago.
Was he? I didn't remember that either. Yeah, and Rodriguez played a lot at the end of that game too.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get to another break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. Welcome back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and this is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And Matt, I mentioned that it's that midway point of the season.
Yeah.
NFL.com has made its NFL playoff predicting the 8 division winners, 6 wildcard teams at the midway point of the season.
Let's go through that.
So what they do is they poll their however many writers this is. I can't even count that high. But they got a bunch. And in the AFC East, they have a unanimous pick, the Buffalo Bills.
Totally agree.
Can't
Totally
argue
agree.
with that whatsoever. In the AFC
Some of that's by
North,
default. I mean, just the way the Jets and Miami, the seasons have gone.
they have 27 voters because 25 voters voted for the Ravens. 2 voters voted for the Steelers to win the division.
Totally get it. Okay. Makes sense.
AFC South, unanimous pick, Houston.
Yeah, but they're not
Kind of
very
by
good.
default, yeah.
Yeah, they're not very good. I mean, like, there's an opportunity there if you were Indianapolis or, if you didn't fall on your face. I mean, they're not as good as the Bills, like in that situation.
The AFC West.
That's 100%, right?
Yeah. Another unanimous pick. So 3 of the 4 division winners unanimous in the AFC.
That's just because so many of those teams fell off. I mean, can't harp on this enough. I mean, all of our preseason thoughts and talks about the AFC. Well, the Browns could be right around 500 in the playoff mix. Maybe the Jags, the Colts, definitely the Jets, the Dolphins. None of them.
None of them.
They're all bad.
The crazy thing is, now I understand 2 people picked the Steelers to win their division.
Mm-hmm.
But the team, the wild card team that got the most points, with 9 votes, is the 5th seed, 12 for the 6th seed, 6 for the 7th seed, was the Chargers with 57 points.
So I guess they had to seed them as well?
Yeah. And you got points based on what seed you were.
Okay.
So the Steelers were second, 12 votes for the 5 seed. So they had more 5th seed votes. 8 votes for the 6th seed, 4 votes for the 7th seed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
things would have to go really bad for them to be the 7th seed at this point, I think.
I agree. But the 2 that they got for the first doesn't help their cause in this either, which is weird because
here's the thing,
we
though.
voted you too high.
So if you add that up, then remember, they had 2 votes as the ones for the 1. 12 votes for the 5 seed, 8. That's 20.
22.
4 votes for the 7th seed. That's 26 votes. There's 27 people voting.
Did not have them in there.
So somebody doesn't even have them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I bet there's still a Jets or Bengals lover out there.
Playoffs? We're talking about the playoffs?
Right. I would imagine people just look at the second half of the schedule and be like, oh, they're only going to win 1 more game, 2 more games. You know what I mean? That would be my
Those
logic.
people might be on
it.
drugs.
I mean, Cleveland's on there twice.
Right.
I mean, since he's not as good as they used to be.
5-1 in the division last year.
Mm-hmm.
5-1. Went 3-3 in the division the year before that. They haven't had a losing record in the division in this decade.
I'd be shocked if it starts this year too. Not because of the status of those teams. It's just
how these teams
Steelers are going
match
to be
up.
good in the division every year. You're right. And by the way, the Ohio teams are down.
The third most team in the AFC that got votes, Cincinnati with 38 points or 38 votes.
I think that'd be my vote too, but I think they're going to lose tonight. I just don't have any faith in Denver.
They lose tonight, they're in trouble.
They're in huge trouble. I mean, that's another conference loss, which is the big problem for them because I don't think they're going to win division. They need tiebreakers to go their way, and their tiebreakers are terrible.
Yeah.
But who's the 7 seed? I mean, I understand Denver might hold on. I mean, they're the best where they sit right now, but I don't think they're very good.
No.
I still think there's an opportunity for the Jets.
Then you got Baltimore with 6 points. The two people that didn't vote for them to win the division voted for them.
Yeah, so everyone had them in the postseason.
Denver got 5 points. Miami got 1 point. The Jets got 1 point.
Who's a better chance, the Jets or Miami, to go to the playoffs? Jets have one more win.
I'd say Miami. I don't like where the Jets are at.
I don't like either.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them make it. That's the problem.
I think the Chargers are sitting pretty.
I think the Chargers are in good shape. I think the Steelers are in good shape.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to give up on the Bengals.
I know. And I think they're going to lose tonight. I mean, that's my dilemma.
Yeah.
You know? If you win tonight, wow, okay. Now you're really in good shape, considering because Denver could lose 3 in a row. I mean, who knows? I think they have a really hard schedule.
The next 3 are tough,
now. Yeah. The Chargers have a very easy schedule.
Yeah. That's just, I mean, the AFC is not deep this year.
No, it's not particularly good. I mean, be really nice, of course. I mean, it goes without saying. Be great to win the division because your opponent might not be very good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because Houston's probably going to be the 4 seed. At least they're playing like the 4 seed. They're playing like the worst division leader
I would agree.
far.
But
but Nico's coming back.
Yeah.
You know.
Which to me is why, if you're a Steeler fan, you want Cincinnati to win tonight.
Guess so. Yeah. I mean, just what's your best path to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Hosting
remember, Baltimore's already lost to Cleveland.
Right.
So if Cincinnati, they've already beaten Cincinnati once.
Mm-hmm.
So if Cincinnati splits with them, they're not going to do any better than a split with Cleveland. If the Steelers then split with them and they finish with the same record, Steelers win the division.
Yeah, we had a short conversation last night with Tom Offerman and Tim Benz. Who do we want to win Thursday? Because I think there's a side for both.
Yeah.
Because the Bengals are
either way, you're going to be happy.
Yeah,
as long as you win on Sunday.
As long as you win, right.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to get a lead on the Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think, though, if the Bengals are if their season continues to go this way, they're going to be pretty easy prey in Week 18.
Yeah,
there's that too. In terms of, what are they playing for? What do they care?
Yeah. In the NFC, Philadelphia got 19 votes to win the division. Washington got 8.
I would vote for Philadelphia.
Detroit, a unanimous pick in the North, which is kind of surprising.
I'm shocked a little bit, yeah. But they're really sitting pretty and playing well.
Yeah. In the NFC South, the Falcons, a unanimous pick.
I'm starting to lean that way, too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bucs are good. They're a good story. But they're swimming upstream.
Well,
man.
and remember, they've swept Tampa Bay.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Also, if you look at Atlanta's schedule, it's kind of laughable.
Yeah. So realistically, they've got like a 2-game lead now.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
In the NFC West,
I bet the Niners got the most votes.
Niners got 12. The Rams got 12. And the Cardinals got 3. Nobody voted for Seattle.
I would put them in that order, too.
The wild card teams. Washington got 46 votes to lead the wild cards.
Yeah, they're pretty nice shape right now, too, mathematically.
Green Bay got 41 points.
I'd be shocked if they're not a playoff team.
Minnesota got 38 points.
I think I'd put them in over Tampa or the Rams. Anyone else in the West?
Yeah. The Eagles got 21 points for the people.
Yeah.
San Francisco got 9 points. So there's some people out there. Remember, they only got 12 votes to win the division. They only got 6 more votes.
Who's that?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, okay.
So overall, they got 18 votes. So 9 people don't have the 49ers making the playoffs.
I understand it.
It's a tougher road to hoe.
Tougher road, and they're far from guaranteed winning their division.
Arizona got 4 points. Tampa Bay got 2 points. The Bears got 1.
Yeah, the Bears were kind of in this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, now not so much.
Well,
yeah,
especially after that Hail Mary and looking bad this past week. And I think they get fired.
They can't win on the road on a Sunday.
Yeah.
0-15 under Eberflus on Sundays on the road. Like,
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
This is a much bigger conversation than we have time for at the end of the hour, but there might be a lot of coaching changes. I mean, I can make the case for 10, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, including Chicago.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with hour number 2 right after this. And we are back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson. It's time for the Fantasy Football Focus. And, Matt, let's jump right into it here with the injury reports for today. Kyle Pitts with that hamstring injury, once again limited today.
Yeah, that's something.
2 days in a row, so keep an eye on that. We'll see if he gets a full go tomorrow. Tyjae Spears upgraded to a full participant on Thursday, which is really significant because Tony Pollard, with a foot issue, did not practice today.
Yeah, and he had stuff last week, so maybe Pollard's pretty banged up. He had a pretty big workload, and they have a tough matchup. They play the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
It's not great.
Will Levis, with the shoulder, upgraded to a full practice on Thursday.
I bet he starts.
Yeah, I bet he does too.
I mean, it's the right move. I mean, you need to see him. I'm not a fan. I don't think he's particularly good, but pretty soon Richardson's going to be back in too if you keep losing. That's the way it works. And Bryce Young's back in, you know.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Tyler Boyd for the Tennessee Titans, shoulder limited on Thursday.
They're a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are.
Chris Olave with that concussion for the Saints remains away from practice.
So he can't play this week.
He's not playing this week. Yeah. Michael Pittman with that back and finger issue officially did not practice again on Thursday.
Just watching him, I think he needs sat down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really lumbering. He looks like he's in pain.
Curtis Samuel with the pec was limited on Thursday. So
something. I mean, you're probably not putting him in your lineup either way. But
Keaton Mitchell activated off IR and will play tonight.
Yeah, I think he's interesting.
For the Baltimore Ravens.
I mean, he'll never be a full-time guy. I mean, even if Henry and Hill got hurt. Henry Hill.
This is the second time you've done that.
I have done that, right.
Your face lights up when you do it.
It does. Actually, Goodfellas was on like 3 nights ago, too. So good. But Mitchell's explosive, and he was fantasy relevant last year.
Yeah, for a little bit. For about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Then he got hurt because he's tiny.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Amari Cooper with that wrist injury, limited again Thursday, not catching any passes.
It must be really bothering him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're got to use your hands if you're a receiver. That's kind of a big deal.
Even putting a brace on it or whatever is not going to help that.
The Titans rested Calvin Ridley on Thursday.
Yeah.
Not good. They also rested Jeffrey Simmons. Like, they're beat up. L'Jarius Sneed didn't practice. Ugh.
Yeah, they must just be giving people breaks. Have they had their bye yet?
I don't know.
I think they might be one of those late ones.
Yeah, they could very well be and headed for 2 and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Smith with the hamstring injury returned to practice on Thursday for the Eagles.
Okay. There's a chance Goddard plays. I think A.J. Brown's okay. They could be full go.
Yeah. Jonathan Brooks with that knee logged a full practice on Thursday. They also signed Chuba Hubbard.
They extended him.
To a long-term deal here. And immediately people say, well, because it was like $8 million in change. Well, this is great news for Najee Harris. Najee Harris is going to get paid regardless.
Of course. Yeah.
And I still hear people saying that the Steelers made a mistake by not giving him the 5th-year option. And I explained this a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, if he signs a 3-year, $10 million deal, that does not mean that he will be making $10 million next year.
Or a $10 million cap hit.
It won't be a $10 million cap hit.
Right.
He will be probably about a $4 or $5 million cap hit.
Which is less than the guaranteed tag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, anyways. So you're going to get Najee Harris back at a lesser price than what he would have cost you on the tag.
Well, the big thing about the whole conversation is if he would have got hurt in week 1, it'd have been a terrible decision.
Right.
You don't know that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're
fully guaranteeing both years.
Right.
Jatavian Sanders with wrist and ankle injuries. That's not good.
No.
Limited at practice on Thursday. They want him to play and play a lot.
Yeah, they definitely want to.
kind of getting into fantasy
I'll
relevant
say,
status.
he's kind of a watch list guy. You know what I mean, like,
or even maybe like a DFS dart throw. They have to throw the football.
Oh, yeah, and they want to play all their young guys.
Yeah. They rested both Taylor Moton and Eki Ekwonu.
Okay.
I mean, those are maybe their two best offensive
Yeah,
linemen.
I just keep feeling those are like Cam Hayward, Isaac Seumalo rest days. You know, like it's late in the season.
Well, Moton was rest. Ekwonu has an ankle issue.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Adam Thielen with the hamstring missed practice again Thursday. Does he play again this year?
Why even rush him back? I mean, it'd been nice for them if they could have turned him into a 7th-round pick, but he wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
What good's he do for him to play at all now? They want to play the Get. They want to play Coker.
Darius Slayton with a concussion, not expected to fly to Germany for their game on Sunday morning.
It's not that huge of a deal, but I'm sitting here thinking just from a personal standpoint, if you had a concussion and you got to fly overseas, how terrible would that be? Right. You know?
Or if he would have had to fly to Pittsburgh because you got traded.
Right. But
just throwing that out there.
Yep.
Zach Martin with a shoulder injury missed practice Thursday.
That's huge.
That's significant. Yeah. Juju Smith-Schuster not practicing Thursday.
I dumped him in leagues. I think there's no reason.
There's no reason to hold on to him.
Yeah.
Bradley Chubb with that knee injury, not returning to practice this week, so he'll miss at least another week.
Yeah, he's been hurt a lot too.
Drake London with that hip issue did practice today.
Okay. I mean, if Pitts doesn't go too, I think Mooney's in a really good situation.
Yeah.
And London, I didn't think would play this week.
Will Anderson with an ankle for the Houston Texans missed practice Thursday.
It looked pretty bad.
Yeah. That's a big loss for their defense.
Massive for them.
Keon Coleman with that wrist issue, not practicing again today.
Okay.
So that's 2 days in a row.
Samuel is questionable, give or take. And Cooper's questionable, give or take.
Yeah.
3 of the best receivers. It could be a huge Shakir guy.
Nico Collins with the hamstring, still not practicing.
Doesn't sound good. I thought he was going to be back by now.
Yeah, still not. Micah Parsons with that ankle injury was expected to do more at practice today.
Yeah, I thought that was the only good news you've heard out of Dallas in a while, is that he's trending in the right direction for soon.
The other news out of Dallas, and this is from late yesterday, CeeDee Lamb with that shoulder injury did more than anticipated at practice yesterday.
Okay.
So maybe he plays this week.
All right. I mean, they're desperate.
How do you see him with Cooper Rush at quarterback?
Like a wide receiver, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll still feed him the football, and Rush is capable. But
you can't bench CeeDee Lamb if he's on the field.
I mean, maybe if I don't do fantasy ranks. I don't think he'd be in my top 10 of receivers this week, but maybe not far off.
No, I mean,
like him versus Tyreek.
It's not like they're going to go out and throw for 110 yards.
No,
Cooper Rush is better than that.
I mean, he's still going to have a high target share.
Yeah.
High target share.
Absolutely. The Ravens waived Yannick Ngakoue.
Well,
he must be
done. A lot of teams. Yeah,
he must be done.
He's a certain type, too. He doesn't play special teams. If he loses quickness, he's a finesse edge rusher. Yeah.
Khalil Herbert is expected to play tonight for Cincinnati.
Wow. That was a Tuesday trade, huh?
Yeah.
I'd be worried about him in protections.
I did, yeah. I heard he's not good in protection.
He isn't. That's what hurt him. He's a good ball carrier.
Yeah.
But the other stuff is what's kept him off the field.
I don't know that Chase Brown is good in protection.
That I don't know.
Because early in the season, they were using Moss as the third down
Moss
guy.
is better.
Yeah.
I mean, P. Ryan was the guy, too, before that. I mean, is this a good Chase Brown day or not? I mean, I don't think.
He'll catch the ball.
Oh, and he'll probably get to almost all the carries, too.
Yeah.
Like, even if he's active tonight, Herbert, I can't imagine him doing much. But it's just such a good run defense.
So, Trevor Lawrence with the shoulder injury, likely to miss Week 10. It looks like he might need surgery.
Shut him down now.
His non-throwing shoulder. They've got Mac Jones. He would start.
Yeah.
Gives them an opportunity to see, hey, what do we got here in Mac Jones?
Yeah. I mean, their season's shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want the franchise quarterback getting hurt more. You traded his left tackle. Would Mac Jones kill Thomas and Ingram? And I don't think he kills them.
Yeah.
For fantasy. I wouldn't. There's a lot of those retread quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett included. Like, I want to see them. I mean, I don't want people to get hurt.
Right.
But I wanted to see Wentz in Kansas City when,
You were all excited about that.
Yeah, just,
I haven't seen Carson Wentz play a game in a long time.
He may have been unemployed at this time last year. I mean, he was on the bench or on the couch for a long time. I just think that this league is showing that some of these highly talented retread quarterbacks can succeed, you know, in a new environment.
Does it, as far as like Ingram and guys like that,
I don't think it kills them if it's Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see it first.
They play Minnesota, which isn't an easy matchup.
Yeah, I don't like any Jags this week.
But it will be.
Lawrence won't play this week.
To your point, I mean, it could be interesting to see what Mac Jones does. And what's he got, a year left on his deal?
It might be 1 year. Because nobody picked up his fifth-year option.
Yeah, his fifth-year option wasn't picked up. So is this his year 3 for him?
I think it's year 4.
Is this year 4? Okay, so it's not like they'd be able to trade him.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. You know, like some of these guys, if you can showcase them, turn them into a 4th-round pick. You know, but I don't think it'd be good for him to be able to showcase.
Yeah, when they traded for Mac Jones, it was with the idea, well, we got a guy who's with starter experience behind Trevor Lawrence because we're going to be in it.
Because we're going to be in it, right?
You're not in it.
You're not in it.
No.
I mean, nothing benefits them. I mean, they're a mess.
Jalen McMillan still not practicing this week with that hamstring injury.
Any interest in like Sterling Shepard?
Well, he didn't practice yesterday with hamstring and hip injuries.
He's always hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had a rough career.
Mike Evans still not practicing for the
He is
Tampa
coming
Bay
back, though. I mean, I don't think he went on IR.
Yeah. And then Bucky Irving did not practice with that toe. That's kind of been a ongoing thing for him. Baker Mayfield also has a toe issue.
Does he?
What's going on with the toes down there?
Toes down in Tampa.
Tampa toes.
Otten's going to get 1 million targets still.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a gold mine.
Who's Tampa's backup? Is it still
the Florida kid.
Yeah. That kind of kills everybody if he has
Yeah, I would say that's not good.
No. I bet Baker to
plays through everything.
Yeah, Baker will play. But, yeah, I think the Trevor Lawrence – Baker missed yesterday and today.
Did he?
That toe issue.
Yeah, I mean, keep an eye on it, of course, but that would basically ruin the Bucs season, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hanging on by a thread anyway.
It kind of hurts them if he can't run a little bit, too.
Oh, he's mobile.
Yeah.
And moving around the pocket and rollouts and being a shorter guy. Some of it's by design, you know. The Lawrence stuff's disturbing, though. You know, like.
They just gave him money.
Just gave him money. Everything's coming apart. He's not had a good year. There's going to be a new coach there.
Yeah. I wonder, the coaching staff's going, man, we need to win some games.
Yeah, at least to save our hides here a little bit.
Yeah. If they lose this week to Minnesota at home,
which I think they probably will.
They're underdogs.
Yeah.
And I doubt that could be the next coaching change on Monday.
I think they're probably next.
Yeah.
I think they're high on the list.
Because they would be, I think, 2-8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they're next. And I think we could have a couple soon.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of really bad teams.
Really are. 9 teams with two wins.
And we're in November.
You got 11 teams that have 6 or more.
Okay. So the middle's not as strong, not as heavy.
There's not as much in the middle.
Usually
it's kind of more top heavy and bottom heavy.
And some of those 2-win teams are okay. Miami,
Yeah.
But there's just some awful teams.
Well, but
too.
some of those 2-win teams, their wins came against the other bad teams.
Yeah, they're starting to play each other more too. Yeah.
And so that's where now draft picks get kind of sorted out and those kind of things because
Carolina beat the Saints.
Yeah, you start looking at some of those, win percentages. Miami's at 222. They haven't beaten anybody good.
Beaten anybody. Yeah. That was even with Tua.
Yeah. Cincinnati's in the same boat. They're 4-5, but their winning percentage is 222 against the teams that they've beaten.
Wow.
They've beaten the bad teams.
Wins,
yeah. So that's just something to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's get to a break. He is the Matt Williamson. I am Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. And, of course, you can hear The Drive every Monday through Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. right here on Steelers Nation Radio. You can also download the Steelers mobile app. You get all kinds of goodies on there. Anytime the team makes a move or anything like that, it's
notification.
Directly a notification on your phone. You can also then get the podcast right there on your phone. As soon as it downloads, there it is. And finally, you can watch on YouTube.
Yep, absolutely.
And leave us comments. Let us know what you think of the show. If you have any questions about stuff, things you think we might want to talk about, let us know there as well. We're going to get to a break. When we come back, we are expected to be joined by Steelers wide receiver Van Jefferson.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so we'll have a little chat with Van and see how he is assimilating with the new teammate. His father,
I want to bring that up.
Coach Mike Williams in New York. So there's a little bit of a, I don't want to say it's nepotism, but they know each other. They know each other a little bit here. So we'll find out more about that when we come back. He's Matt Williamson. I'm Dale Lolley. This is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And we are back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and we're joined on the phone line here by Steelers wide receiver Van Jefferson. How you doing, Van?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Great.
It's an exciting time here. You get through your bye week. The Steelers are 6-2. You've positioned yourself well. Big game tonight on the television, first of all, AFC North matchup. Do you watch those games when you see two AFC North opponents or two divisional opponents playing, teams that you know that you're going to have to play down the line here, especially being a newer guy on the team?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm always watching football, but I know these two teams are division opponents, so definitely an important game for us to look to watch. But, obviously we got a big one coming up Sunday that we have our attention to. But, always good to look at your division opponents and get a feel for them. And, obviously we're going to meet up with those guys soon.
Van, how'd the bye week treat you? Did you get away at all? Did you do anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah, bye week treated me good. Time to relax, chill with my family. We went to Nashville,
Nice.
For a little bit and chill with just the family and stuff like that. So it was a good time to get away, relax mentally, physically, and, come back ready to get back to work.
So a couple of weeks ago, you play against the Jets. Your dad's an assistant coach with the Jets. You score a touchdown. And had you faced him before as a player, or was that the first time?
No, sir, that's not the first time I played him. I played him on a couple of occasions while I was with the LA Rams, and we've always had our battles, and we've always the week leading up to the games, we're always talking trash to each other and texting back and forth. But man, it's always a blessing, to play against your dad and to grow up with him in the same household and to see him play in the NFL, now coaching, and have my opportunity to play in the NFL. It's always a blessing and something that I never take for granted. So it was definitely a cool moment, that night.
Now, people talk about, particularly like in basketball and things like that, being a coach's kid, you just know more. Is that did your dad bring you up and teach you the ins and outs of the games? Obviously, he was, a successful receiver himself.
Yeah, definitely. I just remember, me being able to go to the facilities with my dad and be around, great players that he coached, such as like Calvin Johnson and those guys. So just learning from that and seeing him how he coaches and see how he played too as well. He's always teaching me the game and always honing my skills when I was a little kid. I just remember being out in the backyard and we just running through drills, 24/7. So it was definitely a hard childhood, especially with my dad, being a coach. But a lot of things that he taught me, I still, think about to this day. So it's always great to learn from my dad and always to, especially when we play against each other. Like I said, it's always just a blessing to, have that and being on the same field as him.
And being a coach in the NFL is so time demanding and it's such a difficult life. But does he ever get time to look at your all-22, or unless it's Jets week, can you call him and be like, hey, I need help with this route concept or release? Or yeah. I mean, how does that work during the season?
Yeah, he's always watching the film. We'll always talk after every game. He'll always talk to me and, we'll go over it and he'll ask me, how I think I could do on this route. So he's always watching, even though we don't get to talk as much, he's always finds time to, call me after the game just to go over stuff and ask me how I'm feeling and stuff like that. That's just him being a dad and also being a coach too as well. So, it's always, we've always shared that, throughout high school all the way through college and now to the NFL. So, it's like clockwork. After every game, we always get on the phone and chat it up.
So did you get the skinny from him on your new teammate, Mike Williams?
Yeah, his former pupil.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of knew Mike from afar. Me and him share, a couple of the same people in our circle. But, like I said, being in L.A. and him being in L.A. too as well with the Chargers, you always heard about him and how great of a player he is. And you could just see how he was, on the Chargers and even on the Jets too with those, 50-50 balls and how he's just a big body receiver and make those plays downfield. So, Pops didn't give me the whole full scoop, but, I know him from afar and seen him from afar. So I know he's going to do just fine in our system.
So you've had a few stops, as you mentioned, Atlanta and the Rams. Do the Steelers stress blocking from your position more or less about the same as other teams?
Yeah, I think in this offense, you have to be more, about the blocking. I think, Coach Art and Coach Z put a big emphasis on that as receivers. Just doing our job and helping the running back spring, long runs. So I think, it's a very attention to detail type of thing. And, that's something that, they harp on. So, I think as a receiving corps, as a collective, we all just, try to do our best and, make sure that we're on our right assignments, to spring like Najee and Cordell and Jalen Free. So, we just try to do our job.
We've seen this passing game kind of open up a little bit the last couple of weeks here with Russell Wilson. I think he's number 2 in the league over the last 2 weeks. If you looked at it, it's over 270 yards passing in those 2 games. Do you feel like you guys are just kind of tapping into that now a little bit more with the passing game, and that's something you're going to need down the road?
Yeah, like I said, Russ has done a great job of him coming in there. He's, executing the offense, but we don't get to this point without Justin too as well.
Right.
Justin played a big part in this, and he played a big part in us getting us to 6-2. So, but like you said, yeah, Russ has done a great job coming in. He's spreading the ball around, getting it downfield. So it's something that we're definitely going to need, and down the road. And I've always said, of course, in the red zone, that's kind of where that's our Achilles heel right now. We got to kind of work on that. And we love Boz, but, obviously we want to get some touchdowns too as well. But it's been great, though. Russ has been coming in. He's been done a great job. And, we're just going to can execute. And like I said, we got a big one Sunday. So hopefully, we can get it going.
Was Russ's command of the huddle and experience just extremely obvious as soon as he got in?
Yeah. You're talking about a Super Bowl champ, someone that has played the game for a long time. So you can obviously see the experience that he has and how much command he has on the offense. And, he's just very calm back there, very natural and natural-born leader, and I think it's all rubbing off on the guys. And, we keep going, you know what I'm saying? And he pushes us to keep going, and especially in practice, telling us to lock in and things of that nature. So you can just already tell, the experience that he has. And, he's done a great job since he's been in there.
You guys compare Super Bowl rings?
Nah, we haven't.
Get one together.
People forget that you won one too.
Yeah, I know. I would like to see his. I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him and see if he can show me a picture of it, and I'll show him a picture of mine and see who has the better one.
Yeah. So when you have that kind of experience, was that something that you feel like this attracted the Steelers to you? Because a lot of the guys that they collected this offseason, the veteran guys, kind of had some of that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, having experience is good too as well. But, I think, I just wanted to come in and, earn the trust of my teammates and my coaches. Whatever they saw in me, obviously they took a chance on me and wanted me to come in. But, I think my part here is just to, like I said, earn the trust of my coaches and my teammates, and just wanted to come in and prove, that I can be a guy they can trust on and can come in and play. But, whatever attracted them, I'm grateful for the opportunity, always thankful, and, I'm glad to be here, and, just want to keep going down the road and keep winning.
It was a while ago, Van, but how much did you and Michael and Cordarrelle, act as almost like teachers of the Falcon and Arthur Smith offense coming up here from Atlanta?
Yeah, Art, pretty much brought, some of the same stuff he had in Atlanta. And, I just wanted to be a tool for the guys and helping them learn it as fast as they can. Obviously, a lot of stuff that I needed to learn, too, that new stuff that he put in. But for the most part, just wanted to help guys, learn as fast as they can with the offense. And those guys picked it up quick. And so I think, especially for Michael and Cordell, too, as well, I know those guys help, the running backs out and the tight ends to pick it up quick. And as you can see, we're clicking right now. So, Art has done a great job with the installs of making it easy and, not putting too much on guys. So, the transition was smooth, and obviously, we tried to play a part in that to help all those other guys out.
Our guest is Van Jefferson, Steelers wide receiver. I have one last question for you before we let you go here, Van. Does Arthur, when he's talking to you guys, drop in some strange little references and stuff? Like he's referencing like Napoleon when he talks to the media and things like that. Like just little things like that. Just going, Coach, what are you talking about?
Yeah. We kind of get on him a little bit, but Art has his own language that he talks to us with. And but Art's, man, he's been great since he's been here, man. He's the ultimate competitor. Like I said, he's always talking crap to the defense during practice, getting us ready for the game. And but he's been awesome, man. And so like I said, he's been making everything easy for us, easy to learn, and he's done a great job since he's been here, and I love playing for him.
Well, we appreciate your time, Van. We'll let you go. I know you have a busy schedule. Let you get that all finished so you can watch the Bengals and Ravens tonight. Our guest has been Van Jefferson, Steelers wide receiver. He is Matt Williamson. I'm Dale Lolley. You're listening to The Drive here on the Steelers Audio Network. Matt and I will be back with more right after this. And we are back. I'm Dale Lolley. He is the Matt Williamson, and this is The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. And Jefferson was good there.
Very. Yeah.
It's good.
Very interactive and open to our questions and all that good stuff.
Yeah, he's been great in the locker room.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, very bright. Yeah, absolutely. And his dad's a coach, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coach Mike Williams.
There you go. And Calvin Johnson.
And Calvin Johnson, yeah, not bad. I think I could be Calvin Johnson's receiver coach. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing.
When I started covering the Steelers in 1993, the intern in the PR department, his name was Mike Miller.
Yeah, okay.
He was a PR intern. So he, as things went along, got to know some of the coaches on the staff, and when Mike Mularkey got hired as the head coach in Buffalo, he hired Mike as the offensive assistant.
Yeah, football something or other, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So as things unfolded, when Ken Wisenhunt got hired in Arizona as the head coach, he hired Mike as his wide receivers coach.
I kind of know this story. Yeah, right. I mean, that's an interesting path to go to get into football. Right?
So the Steelers go down to play the Cardinals, and Mike meets us out for drinks the night before the game.
Yeah. He's a coach on the staff at this point.
I'm like, Mike, you got Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden,
Not
and
bad.
Steve Breaston.
Stevie Breaston was your three, yeah.
I'm like, that's your top three receivers. I'm like, what are you telling those guys? Like, he's like, roll the ball out there and have at it, guys.
So, side note, you brought up those names. I've referenced it 1,000 times. I was with Larry at Pitt. Well, Stevie was coming out of Woodland Hills, and his best buddies were on the team. It was like Lou Polite and Tutu Ferguson and all these Woodland Hills dudes. He went to Michigan. We could have had two of those three together at wideout. Yeah, so made me sad.
Yep, I imagine so.
Yeah, it could have been good. Then let me tell you the Santonio Holmes recruiting story. We got all three of them.
So, Matt, the ESPN staff has put together mid-season predictions, playoffs, MVP, 2025 draft, that kind of stuff. So some of these questions, how will they we'll answer these ourselves. We'll also let you some of their answers. How will the playoff races play out? That's the first question.
Wow.
For Ben Solak, his answer was the Baltimore Ravens will make the Super Bowl with an improved pass defense.
Okay.
I don't know where the improvement is coming from necessarily.
Maybe make some schematic changes and be a lot better with their communication. Things like that would be some helpful, but they're not getting any players.
Here's the thing. Okay, so one of the things that he mentions in here, he said the Ravens are fifth worst in the league against the pass, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if those numbers will hold. Cornerback Nate Wiggins and linebacker Trenton Simpson are improving each week.
I'll buy that.
Nickel cornerback Arthur Millette is returning from a knee injury. That ain't moving the needle for me.
That's not the cure-all there. I mean, didn't they bench Williams, the safety, too?
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of communication stuff on the back end. And I'm not sure the pass rush is going to get dramatically better.
No, where's that improving?
Yeah, right. Communication stuff should get cleaned up. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that should not go all year with hands in the air. You got him, I got him. You know, that kind of stuff. Right. But I don't think that they're going to get dramatically better. I could see Simpson and Wiggins get
The
better.
Ravens are a team that should have traded for Preston Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Preston Smith
I'm
would have
surprised they
helped
didn't
them a
bring back
great deal.
Clowney.
Yeah.
I mean, Clowney did great for them. He's actually playing okay for Carolina or done anything there.
Yeah.
You know?
Kansas City, well, this is really going out on Jason Reed really goes out on a limb here. Kansas City will be the number one seed in the AFC. No kidding.
I think that's probably.
They got a 2-game lead on everybody else, and they've
Everybody
beaten all the other ones. Like,
Yeah, and the rest of their division's not that hard to play against, and that I think they have a real good chance for that.
Yeah. So he didn't really go on a limb there.
Mm-mm.
Jeremy Fowler says the Miami Dolphins will claim an AFC wildcard spot.
Wow, that's bold. I mean,
They're 2-6.
I know. We sort of had this conversation of
They better beat Arizona this week.
Yeah, losing last week was bad. I mean, not even last week. 2 weeks ago was a winnable game.
They're 3-6 now, I guess. 3-6.
They're 3.
They were 2-6.
Okay.
Yeah. They lost to the Patriots. That was a bad
Yeah,
loss.
that's what I'm thinking of. I mean, losing to Buffalo's understandable. They hung with the Bills in a kind of close to a must-win game.
I guess they are 2-6.
Yeah, I think they're 2-6. I was
Yeah.
thinking that too. My issue is not necessarily Tua and the offense and all that. It's just we've seen this model.
They fade.
They
down
fade
the
as the
stretch.
season goes
Yeah.
on their best years, you
Yeah.
know, and now you're in a hole already. You know, like if we were starting the season over and it was September and hot in Miami, I'd be like, I get it, you know, but
Yeah.
not the weather stuff that's coming up. And I think they have some late games in bad places, like
Yeah.
Cleveland and Buffalo, and like some.
Well, they
more,
just played in Buffalo, so but they
Yeah.
got to go to New York.
I think they go to New England,
Yeah.
or they have some. It's not real clean for
Doesn't
them.
bode well for them.
No.
They don't like the snow. They don't play very well in the snow.
No, but there's also not that many good candidates in the AFC to
That's
get
the
that
thing.
7.
Yeah. So they need to start stacking some wins beginning this week against the Cardinals. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will earn an NFC wildcard spot, says Aaron Schatz.
Okay, I know their remaining schedule's not brutal. Get Evans back as soon as possible would go a long way, but that's a lot tougher climb.
This is one. So this comes from Liz Loza, fantasy analyst. I don't know her work.
I do.
necessarily.
She's
Okay.
good, yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers will beat out the Cincinnati Bengals for an AFC wildcard spot.
And Bengals are be happy to be fighting for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
It's kind of putting the cart before the horse there. You know?
I'd say so. And the Steelers will be disappointed to be fighting with the Bengals for a wild card spot.
Yeah, things would have gone wrong, and since
In a
he would have to
bad
win
way.
tonight,
Yeah.
you know, right. I still think since he's very much in the wild card race.
I think they are too, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily a matter
Coming
of the
down to
Steelers
that,
beating
yeah.
out the Bengals for a
right.
wild card
like,
spot.
I'd be shocked if Week 18 is for a wild card spot.
Yeah.
Loser goes home. You know,
Right.
that would shock me.
that would mean the Steelers are probably the 7 seed, and that's not.
I mean, I could see Cincinnati needing that game to get in.
yeah.
But I'd be shocked if it's one of these two teams goes and the other one doesn't.
You got a bold prediction on the postseason? How the playoff races play out?
Chiefs win it all.
I said bold. Come
Right.
on, go big or go
Part
home.
of me thinks this could be the Bills' year, just because they're doing things differently. Finally, you know that they're a really physical offensive line. They bring a 6th guy out more often than anybody. Ray Davis, I know he's not special, but like embrace that you play in Buffalo and you're going to host home games. Don't beat don't. It's not a race to 45 to beat the Chiefs. Be the Bills. You know, I mean, be the Bills, and I think Allen is going to win a Super Bowl at some point of his year. I mean, I always have this conversation in the AFC. There's so many good quarterbacks. Well, is Lamar going to win one? Is Herbert going to win one? You know, well, they're not all going to win one. Chances are most aren't because time goes quick. But I think Allen will, and maybe, you know, I mean, that's a long way away. This is a tough exercise.
Yeah. My pick at the beginning of the season was for the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah, it's a strong one.
I
mean, if you had to pick a Super Bowl participant right now, would it be Chiefs Lions? I think that's who I would pick.
I can't remember.
If I had to bet on it,
I think I had Chiefs Lions at the beginning of the
I
season.
can't remember what I had, but right now I think that would be.
I don't think the Chiefs make it.
Don't you?
I don't think they do.
It's a tough road.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna have to.
I do think
beat
that
the
they'll,
Ravens
I
or
think they'll
Bills
be
or
the number
Steelers
1
or-
seed. I think they could lose in the second. This could be the year they don't. That'll be my bold prediction. The Chiefs don't make the AFC Championship.
Oh wow, that would be the worst Mahomes year ever.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
unbelievable,
bold.
right.
I'm
That's bold.
going big.
Packers are another team I kind of have an eye on too. That the best might still be yet to come. Love gets a little bit better, health wise. I think they can make noise and maybe be a Final Four team or even a Super Bowl representative.
Yeah.
A bold prediction that's not that bold is Niners are on the outside looking in. I'm not saying I'm making that, but I could absolutely see the side of it. It might just not Super
Might
Bowl
not be their year,
hangover,
yeah.
and not their year, and a lot of injuries, a lot of contracts, and a lot of distractions. And what if McCaffrey isn't Superman?
Yeah.
You know, he could come back and
Possible.
not look the same. You know, it's
certainly
possible,
He's
right?
almost 30.
Yeah. He's had a lot of wear and tear.
I think Baltimore could go into Kansas City and win.
I do too.
I think Buffalo can go into Kansas City and win.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh can go into Kansas City and win.
Be a certain type of game. I don't think Houston can.
I don't think Houston can either. I don't think they're ready for that. But I think those three
Here's
teams.
a crazy one.
Okay.
Could the Chargers?
Potentially. They're not
14-13.
They're
You know
not
what I mean?
They play them twice a year.
I said
every
they'll
year.
at least have been in
Yeah.
there. You know, They'll be a dog. I'm not
No,
saying
I'm not saying any of those teams will be
right,
favored, but they all have the capability of going into Kansas City and winning.
Like their edge guys could give those tackles a lot of problems. If they can keep it close and win in the margins and Harbaugh it up and Herbert plays his A game, which
you force a couple of Mahomes turnovers, which he's done this year.
I mean, that's a Charger thing. You know? I'm just saying because it's in division too. You know, they'll be very familiar.
But I think there's more teams that have the capability this year of going into Kansas City and winning than maybe ever before in the AFC.
Probably.
You know, everybody talks about, at the beginning of the year, Cincinnati's the team that can go into Kansas City and win.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's more than that now.
Yeah, Burrowhead and all that nonsense. Yeah.
He does kind of look like a Burrowhead with that blonde whatever he's got going on up there.
Like, I don't think they can. I mean, even if they win
they're
out from
not
here,
good enough defensively to do it.
No, they'll run on them. Yeah.
Like Baltimore makes me nervous with that, but Baltimore will stop the run.
Oh, yeah. And I do think Baltimore's pass defense won't be the worst in the league.
Yeah.
You know, when it's all said
will
and
get
done.
slightly better.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to prove enough to be league average, but it'll be better than what it has been.
Yeah. And like the Buffalo's not intimidated by them either. I mean, they just haven't beaten them, but they've gotten awful close.
Who will win?
Like the Eagles get super hot. I mean, they're starting to really heat up right now too.
They could, they could, and they've dealt with some injuries, much like the Steelers. They've dealt with some
Johnson and AJ Brown. I mean, some big dogs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think they could certainly beat the Lions. Who else could beat the Lions in the NFC? You said Green Bay.
Green Bay, although they just lost them, but
at home.
That's a division thing.
It was such a weird game too.
Yeah.
I don't think Minnesota can.
The Niners' best day could.
Yeah.
Eagles.
I don't think the Falcons can.
I don't think the Falcons can. How about the Vikes?
I don't think the Vikings
can either. I mean, in the NFC Championship game in Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, the Vikings are so blitz reliant against that offense.
They'll pick it up.
Yeah. They'll pick it up. It's a good offensive line. There's too many weapons. It's not like you could just focus on Jefferson and nobody else is going to beat you.
Right.
Or I should say Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right. Yeah. I think Green Bay could. I think the Niners could. Torn on Philly.
Yeah. How healthy is Philly? That's they healthy going into the playoffs?
I can just see their defense getting manhandled by the Lions. The defense is getting better, but Penei Sewell just driving dudes down the field.
The Lions' offensive line is a clear advantage over
Montgomery and Gibbs all day long.
Line.
Yeah, and their defense isn't bad, but it's not great. I mean, it's not the D-line it used to be either, when it was 8 deep in Philly.
No, I agree. Outside of that, if Tampa gets in, Tampa's a dangerous team.
Yeah, their defense isn't good, though, either.
It's not, but they can score with anybody.
They can score with anybody. I really think Evans would have to be part of the equation, but it sounds like he will be. I mean, if they get to the playoffs, he's going to – I mean, unless he gets hurt again, of course. Yeah. But it sounds like he's coming back at some point.
Couldn't the Rams?
I was wondering that, too. McVay, I don't know if they have enough defense.
Yeah, that's the problem with them right now. They can score –
But
when everybody's healthy.
You think Stafford could go to Detroit and make some noise and be hard to play against and play his best game?
Again, you give him because of the quarterback situation. You give him a puncher's chance.
Absolutely. They could score 40.
Could he go in there and outplay Jared Goff? Yeah, he could.
He's better than Goff, in my opinion. I don't know. Could they score 40 on Detroit? I think they could.
They could.
I mean, 30. I mean, maybe 40's crazy, but a lot of points. Get a bounce.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's why when people may look at this and go, "You're crazy. The Steelers can't go into Kansas City and win." Mm-hmm. Why not? They've got a quarterback now who's as Mike Tomlin likes to say, a been there, done that kind of guy.
Yeah, I think
he's not going to be overwhelmed by going into Kansas City.
No.
The last time the Steelers went into Kansas City, and I can't stress this enough. I know the Chiefs scored a bunch of points, but it was largely because the offense did nothing for 8 straight possessions.
Right, like couldn't get first downs.
The Steelers gave Kansas City, in the first half of that game, I can't remember if it was 10 or 11 possessions.
Yeah, and then just wore out.
That should be a game. That should be the full game's worth.
That's an average game.
Not a first half.
Not the first half.
You can't ask a defense. They gave up. They didn't. 11 straight possessions. They didn't give up. They outscored Kansas City's offense. The Steelers' defense. It was 7-0. Because T.J. Watt had picked up a fumble and ran it in for a touchdown. It's 7-0. But your offense did nothing with 10 possessions. You just kept kicking the ball back, three and out. Against that offense, you're killing yourself.
And you've got to think too, like if they were to meet the Chiefs, That means they probably won a playoff game already.
They would have won probably one
maybe
or two. Maybe
yeah,
two.
Yeah, depends where they ended up. And you would think the defense is probably quite good at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can get to a Kansas City playoff game, it's probably a low-scoring game, and then you're in it. You
got a chance.
Yeah.
A bounce, as you said, a bounce here, a bounce there.
Block a kick.
There's all kinds of stuff that can happen.
Right, yeah.
And we've seen that from the Steelers. Like, they know how to – it's what's different about this team than maybe some others in recent incarnations of the Steelers. They've always kind of won in the margins in recent years. But now they can also outscore you.
But you don't have to now.
You don't have to. You can still do that. You can still win games in the margins.
I mean, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago at this time in November, if you were -2 in turnover differential, you didn't win.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't win.
You had no chance.
Yeah.
You were probably losing by at least 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're playing catch up in the end, depending on the level of opponent. But I'm not even talking about in Kansas City at the AFC Championship. I'm just talking about anybody.
Yeah.
If you hand the ball over to them twice, you won't win that game.
Right. But I just think
they can overcome those things now.
With this running game / passing attack that can, do stuff that they just couldn't do in years past. They just didn't have the big playability.
Right. Mike Williams might add a little of that too.
Yeah.
At least does he have 5 big plays between now and the end of the season? I don't know.
And I know people talked about, Mike Tomlin, he's so conservative. He's been conservative. He had been conservative offensively the last few years. They
couldn't turn it over.
Yeah. This is still the same guy, however, that coached the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
They weren't conservative then.
No, I always go back to Steelers will score the first touchdown of the game, go for 2.
Go for 2.
Make it 8-0. Or, Ben, throw it as many times as you want. Because you're throwing it to AB and Juju in his prime and Bell and those guys. Different world. I think his strength is knowing his team.
That's the thing. And to me, that's what good coaches do, as he always says, and he picked it up from Dick LeBeau. If you have red paint, paint the barn red. If you have a good defense, play to the strength of your defense.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good defense, your offense better put up a bunch of points, and that's where they were at in 2015, 2016. They didn't have a great defense.
Then, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have one then. They had some players who were, who were good, but they had to play to their strength. So the strength was, hey, we're just going to go out and outscore people.
Well, yeah, Hall of Fame quarterback.
I remember they played a game against the Colts in that time period, and they went up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter, and they just kept throwing the ball.
Because they knew.
And Tomlin said after the game, he says, hey, Andrew Luck was standing on the other sideline. We're going to keep scoring. We didn't just,
we're not going to just
take the air out of the ball and try to run it out. No.
Yeah.
Okay, we have too much respect for that guy. He's going to – we got to put 45 on the board if we can put 45 on the board.
Yeah, and Tomlin's coaching style and philosophy to winning and still getting wins over these last 5 years or so is pretty obvious. Yeah. But I think it's not necessarily that's who he is. It's who he had to be.
Yeah.
Now as he gets more and more comfortable with Wilson, will we see a shift? I think we're good.
I think we're starting to see that.
I think we're starting to, yeah.
I think we're starting to see that. Russell Wilson has a perfect passer rating in the fourth quarter of games this year.
Wow.
153.8.
Yeah.
He's been perfect in the fourth quarter of games.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has an incompletion. Or something.
I think he has one.
There was something in my stat pack. It was like 1 or 2 or none or something
He's been really good in the fourth quarter of games.
And they've actually gotten that from Pickett, too. And, some of these
but that's
guys,
not surprising. Right? I mean, that's kind of who he is. That's been in his DNA over the course of his career.
Absolutely.
I think he's like he's certainly top 10 all time in fourth quarter comebacks.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about it for a couple of weeks, but their point differential in the second half and Steelers in the fourth quarter, even before Wilson, have been really good. I think they practice hard and are in better shape than some teams and a little bit physically and mentally tougher than some teams.
Yeah.
And we brought it up Wednesday, but they added 2 guys in the trade deadline that are big physical players. I think they're gearing up for, all right, now we're really, the second half of the season is here and it's going to be different.
Yeah. So, they know that there's as Tomlin said on Wednesday, the road's starting to narrow here and we're going to need all bodies on deck.
Yeah, we're going to need all the big dogs, right? We'll see.
How about this little stat? Do you know the Steelers are the only team this season that have scored at least 20 points against the Chargers?
That doesn't shock me now that I didn't know that a minute ago.
And they're the number one scoring defense in the league. They play a certain style.
Yeah.
But the Steelers got to 20 against them. Nobody else has.
No, I'm going to say the Chargers, like in every metric, are the one team that's ahead of the Steelers defensively. Any which way you cut it. They're like pretty much been the best defense in the league. Haven't faced a murderer's row of offenses, but still, that's the one they had the least success against.
So just something to throw out there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, lots of little things that, we're at the midway point of the season. You're starting to get a true picture of the team. When people talk about the identity, what's the identity? We have a pretty good idea what the identity of this team is right now.
Much better clue now than even a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt, that's going to do it for our show today.
All right. Van Jefferson was fun.
Van Jefferson was fun, so you can go back and listen to that one again. Lots of good stuff there from
I'm gonna
Van.
have to come up with a prediction for tomorrow. I've been going back and forth on this game. It's good to see a lot of different paths that could go down.
Yeah, right. I understand. I get it. But for my partner, Matt Williamson, for Justin Miller here, manning the Justin Miller hotline as he does every day, and for Tyler Vittmeyer, making sure you got kudos today in the comments. Did you see that? You did.
Really?
In the comments under today's or yesterday's show, I should say, somebody said, "Thank you, Tyler, for making sure these videos get up."
All right.
So you can thank your mom for going on and checking that out.
on and leaving you a little something.
I'm Dale Lolley. We appreciate you listening to this edition of The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network.
Steelers football happens here. The Pittsburgh Steelers Audio Network.